I have 901.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Right. Call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. We'll start with prayer. And Kevin, if you lead some prayer, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for all the brave people from 9/11 that helped us to keep our country safe for 20 years. And all the soldiers that lost their lives so we could have our freedom we enjoy today. Help give us strength and wisdom and to make the best decisions for our county. These things. Excuse me. With these things we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Sorry.
I pledge allegiance
To
to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any public comments this morning?
I would like to speak, sir. I wish to speak now because I am not sure if I will be given another chance today. When discussing changes to my budget, in which I originally asked to increase to a full-time employee, or at least an increase in my part-time funds, it was decided instead that the auditor's office would gain the full-time employee to be shared with my office as needed. You commissioners asked me if I was sure of that decision, and I simply shrugged my shoulders because I had already been given in the last meeting a warning by the judge, therefore making me feel like I had to remain silent. I come to you now to let you know that I am not sure of that decision, and I hope that when you begin discussing and making your final decisions regarding the final budget today, that you once again look over my budget and take into consideration my original request. If sharing one of the auditor's full-time employees is your decision, then I will respectfully accept that decision and do my very best to work with that option. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, we will drop down to number C. This will be the final notice on the public hearing on tax increase. Do we have anybody here for that? All right, we'll move into the consent agenda. Senior citizens, Amelia.
Good morning. For the month of August, the senior center served 1,008 meals to home balance, 166 to hungry plant, for a total of 1,174. Our big van, we've had to put all 4 new tires on it, 2 weeks ago, I believe. And our smaller van, we keep getting a flat in it, or on one of the tires. I'm guessing we're picking up nails from all the ripping that's going on. So about once, twice, 3 times a week it's been going to. Last week I don't think we had any, I don't think I called in for a PO number. But before that, we have been taking it quite often to get a flat repair. But hopefully we're picking all up and they're not. That's all.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Extension office, Mr. Dixon.
This weekend we have West Texas Fair Steer Show. We actually have 28 steers in it, which you guys are in Abilene. Last week of this month, we've got the state fair. We've got 4 steers and pigs and some lambs and goats. So pretty busy month for September, but that's about all I've got.
Thank you. County Treasurer report. Harvey.
After reconciliation, the ending funds is $5,307,573.94. We'll make note that I do have one account that's left unbalanced by $8. That's the district clerk's e-file account. We know what the issue is, but it's gonna carry into the next month to be corrected. That's all I've got.
Auditor report, Ms. Mullins.
Yes, on the bills, I noticed that we need to do a correction on page 17 of Roby Automotive. It says it's coded in precinct 3, but it's actually should be precinct 4, on the bills, so,
One of mine, I think, is the same way too.
okay, which one is it?
I
Is
think
it
it's-
the $40
Is your
one?
Dodge, yeah, it's in precinct.
Yeah, let me
4.
see that one corrected when we're corrected. Cause I noticed that one, this one too.
I don't mind the big one.
Okay, well, I'll, 649, I'll give it to Stacy and we'll make sure that's corrected. Did you see anything else that?
No.
Okay, we'll get that corrected and then ask for the bills to be approved. Yes, sir.
Law enforcement, Sheriff Ford.
Morning, sir. Currently, we have 13 in jail. As of the last court session, we have 3 awaiting transport TC. We're still on schedule to open the jail on October 1st, with people going to school. For our law enforcement side report, we have 1 arrest, 11 citations, 36 verbal warnings, 6 written warnings, 106 reports, 39 incidents, 42 service calls, 9 traffic stops, 13 security checks, 10 were miscellaneous activities, 16 criminal trespasses, 2 crashes, and a DWI.
Is that all? I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
The motion second, all in favor? Carried. Motion carries. All right, new business, conflict of interest, Ms. Mullins.
We don't have the conflict of interest in bills this month. And then I do have one budget amendment, I'll just go ahead and go to it. On Gina Paisley's longevity, I think her hire date was wrong. And so we're having to amend the budget for $600 because she's really due the longevity this year. It was just a mistake in the books. So that's the one budget amendment I have.
Burn ban. Oh, sorry, I need a motion on that.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. New resolution on the burn ban.
I'll make the motion reinstated.
I'll second.
Motion in a second, all in favor, unanimous. Special revenue.
We didn't really have any special revenue, but I think we missed one, from June the 30th for Scurry Midstream for precinct 3, county roads 331, 329, 343. I just didn't get it on there, I guess $2,000, we just need to, I'm just certifying it.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, motion carries. All right, item number 6, set the date for Commissioner's Report for FY 2022.
Y'all should have that list. It's just a list we do every year, and we post it on the internet, and we post it on the board out here. It's just our regular meetings. And we left them, I guess y'all wanted to leave them for Mondays.
I'll
Yeah.
make a motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, motion carries. Okay, item number 7, approve 2022 county holidays.
We left them the same, didn't we?
We added today, didn't we?
There's one
Martin Luther.
day added because Martin Luther King is now a national.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, wasn't it?
Yeah, got added as a federal holiday.
But it's on there, right?
Yeah, it's on there.
I'm gonna make
to approve the holidays.
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor? Motion carries. Item number 8, waive insurance for deputy clerk. Ms. Thompson.
Oh, this is for my office, for my new employee, I wanna wait, I mean, it's in the budget, I just wanna waive the insurance so she doesn't have to wait the 90 days. So she isn't covered by insurance from her old job to, this one. And we've done it for a bunch of people before, so, like I said, it's already in my budget, it's not gonna add to my budget.
We've done it for elected officials, but we've never done it for employees. Because elected official, it used to be, you have to be here 90 days, but elected official
Yeah.
is, it's not going nowhere, or it shouldn't. But I don't remember ever approving one for some, if you do it for one, you're gonna have to do it for all, so you might as well change the rules if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, well, I just asked because
I
if not,
understand.
I mean, it's in the budget, so. It just leaves somebody without insurance and it makes it really hard for them to quit one job and come to another for 90 days, they don't have insurance.
It's actually 60 days and first a month.
Yeah,
I feel like it needs to be changed in the rule book, in the handbook, it's in the handbook, you have to wait.
yeah,
I'm not for that.
okay.
Any other discussion?
I mean, we could put it on the agenda and change it in the rule book if that's what you wanna do, but then somebody
Well,
works 2 months and you pay your insurance and they quit, and there you are.
Yeah.
That's why we've done it that way.
Yeah, I know what we've done that way, Gordon, I just hate to ask somebody to lose their insurance.
I understand, but
Any other discussion? Do I have a motion or no motion? That's right, motion. Item number 9, curfew ordinance for Fisher County. That was for Mr. Cepeda, I don't think he's here.
Judge, if you don't mind, just to inform the court, both city mayors have asked about a curfew because of the problems with kids running around committing criminal activity. Of course, Rotan already has unenforceable curfew because we can't do it as a city ordinance. But they both agreed to approach Mr. Hall about coming to a countywide curfew and I talked to the judge about how that would be applied in a very common sense type of situation where deputy would cite and whatever judge disposes of the case through her court. That's just the particular intent of the sheriff's office and both the cities to help alleviate criminal problem activity that the cities are having. I do agree with them that we need to be doing something in that effort.
Is that gonna create any kind of an issue without a code ordinance officer in?
I wouldn't believe so, quite honestly. There's a whole different area of juvenile law. It would help, however, like in juvenile probation, that there are certain stipulations that they are not allowed to roam around at certain hours. It may also help some parents that they're doing a good effort to control their kids, but they get to that age where they're not listening or sneaking out of the house, and give them a little bit of backup and help reduce the problem.
So this curfew is going to affect at 12 midnight, is that correct, or what would be the times on that, or?
I have not seen a particular ordinance that they want to. I will tell you, my experience from Corpus is generally between 11 and 6 with certain exemptions like church activities, school activities, Boy Scouts, and employment. Those type of activities would certainly be exempted. And so those are things that they would have discussed with Mr. Hall about those exemptions that need to be put in there.
Andy, you got any yay or nay on that situation?
I haven't actually spoken to anyone, but I have seen the Rotan ordinance. It would need to be changed, but generally those exceptions, that, emergencies, employment, you're with the parent, you're with the guardian, we would need to build those kinds of things, but having not seen the actual proposed ordinance for the county, I don't have an opinion until I see the actual, ordinance that would be proposed.
I think it's a good idea myself. We have a lot of people running around in the middle of the night, just looking for something to get into, or steal, or break into. I'll support that.
As in a motion?
I'll make the motion.
should we see that in paper?
I don't think it's right for Commissioners Court action until we have a proposed ordinance to vote on, would be my suggestion.
Can we make a motion to get that started, the progress, or how we need to go about it?
Just table it till.
Yeah, I would table it until we have
Just
something
table
to
it and
vote
see
on.
something in writing before we approve something.
Yeah, we can approve it and start on words on it, then we can print it out, but
But you really can't approve it if you ain't got nothing to approve.
we can start setting some guidelines, how we want it written out, though. We gotta start somewhere on this, don't we?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion that we table it, let's get it on paper and
I'll
get
second
us some
it.
guidelines and then bring it back next month.
Motion in a second, all in favor? All right, item number 10, discuss precinct 3.
Which one?
Comp time.
Comp time, okay.
What I've gathered so far from one of our last meetings, we've got something here that could get the labor board involved with us, and definitely I think we need to get that worked out before. My understanding is we've got comp time after the period that it's supposed to go away, we're supposed to get paid for it, and well, they need to get it settled. I'll be honest, I don't know enough about all of it, but I know we need to get something happening on it.
Well, we set up a new policy, and we never did offer a buyout on what was earned before the new policy. And the way we understand it is you have to buy it out when you create a new policy if they had some earned prior to that. So I actually have the money to pay for it through that employee that wasn't there all this year. Then through the TIF grant, we earned some extra money in labor, so we have the money to do it and pour it into this budget, so I think it's time to do it. So I'll make the motion that we pay the time owed to our employees.
Second.
Mr. Hall.
That's, I'm somewhat familiar if we're speaking of, by the way, this is a personnel matter. I leave it up to the court whether we should go in a closed session. Have some details to be discussed that may be sensitive, but I'm happy to discuss it in public, whatever pleases the court.
We got a little bit.
I've seen those, I don't know, I know just what y'all are saying.
Well, we're going to close session, if that's what we want to do, we can talk about it and come out and make a decision.
When did we do I know we paid out some, but it wasn't that, but we paid a few people.
I think that was the
their
sheriff's
vacation?
department, we paid out vacation, stuff like that. And I know Gina had good intentions when she made this policy, it just, we didn't get all the stuff together and do it right when we did the policy, you know. I think the policy is good for Fisher County, that we don't need that much built up, but still, when you make a policy, you need to have a buyout. You can't just cheat your employees out of time earned. I think it's gonna create a bigger problem for the county.
Y'all are gonna close or not?
That's up to y'all, not my department.
Well, let's go close session and see what
Is-
people got to say.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this not a policy consideration, or is this an individual employee that we're discussing?
I believe there's an individual employee that's gonna be discussed in the closed session, which is the purpose of.
So the individual employee is going to affect the policy for everyone?
I
Is
don't,
that,
I don't know that a policy change is on the agenda.
It's personnel matters, so therefore we go into closed session. Have a motion, do I have a second? We will go into closed.
But after court, then I did some more thinking about it, and I realized that could be a source of contention, dissension between us, and I don't want that. It also could be a lockup what if we both need the person the same day? And I know which side will go, the side that's paying the budget money's coming out of.
we have a motion on the budget? It's not on there for discussion today, guys. We should have done this way before now. What's on the table now is to adopt the budget. You have to do it at a regular meeting. This is our last regular meeting of the year, so the budget has to be adopted today from this board.
I'm gonna make a motion to adopt the budget.
I'll
It's
second.
gotta be done today, it's got to be done.
Yeah, nobody gets paid. No bills get paid, that kind of stops everything. Sorry, Judge.
While we're discussing this, since, we want to talk about this and it's not on here, something I think, taxpayers need to know. It wasn't long ago, we had the auditor and the treasurer shared one employee. Now, with all the additions, everybody's, we added $164,000 to our payroll, and we added another $40,000, which is supposed to help with software to make less people. That's $204,000 we've added to a budget over the past 3 years. This county is not growing, there's no foot traffic in this thing, and everybody just wants more. I think the taxpayers even know that's a waste of $204,000. Y'all wanna sit here and argue today over a full-time or a part-time?
You know, the public needs to know that our auditor's office is costing us more than any other department in our whole courthouse now also. It's more than doubled since I've been
I
here, our auditor's
understand
office.
that, and everywhere else, that's the way the auditor has, in every county that has an auditor, that is the biggest one.
And the auditor's office also has implemented POs, which has saved the county at least $100,000.
I disagree with that, it costs the county money on it.
I'm not gonna argue with you, but that's the truth.
I have a motion and a second on the budget. All in favor?
You gotta adopt the budget today, guys. It's the law.
You're not gonna pay you guys next month?
We need to modify the budget.
We don't have to vote on budget we don't agree with.
Well, you don't, look, you're not, nobody's gonna get paid. Bills aren't gonna get paid.
Oh, no, we have to adopt the budget one way or another.
Yeah, I mean,
We need to figure something else out, you know, that really gets me from walked out here thinking one thing, and it's something else, totally different.
What did you walk out that you didn't understand? She's got the same amount of help she had last year. Why do you think that's necessary?
Well, from the hours she puts in, and software that they can be coming in.
That's supposed to.
That may, you know, that may help later down the road, might be able to do something a little different next year to take it away. They're gonna need somebody beside this current, they're doing that for us, I'm sure Becky will know something about it.
How about next meeting, we just move the payroll to the auditor's department?
Well, I don't know.
No.
I don't feel like that's been discussed a little bit too, so, you know, I don't know.
Biggest problem you have today, it's not on the agenda to discuss it. Giving her a full-time or whatever, I mean, it's not on there.
So we gotta have another meeting.
Well, legally,
We
you cannot,
can't, you
we
can't
have to
it.
adopt the budget
It's
today.
gotta be over today, in the store. That's by statute, by law. Next meeting, payroll's still an issue, and you don't wanna move it, then I suggest you outsource it, and you can outsource it for $450 a month. And $450 a month is a whole lot cheaper than $41,000 a year for a full-time employee. And the question was raised last meeting, would I rather take taxpayers' money out of county if it saves them that much? I absolutely would.
If you take the payroll from my office, everything that else I do touches payroll. Retirement is part of payroll. Insurance is part of payroll. Human resources is part of payroll. Bank reconciliation is part of payroll. Every aspect of my job duties touches payroll.
That's what said then. that last time, that was your time consuming part, I'm saying we take that away.
It is one of the time consuming pieces of the job, it is. Doing the check and balance of vacation time, PTO time, and now comp time. Because there's more than one office that has, or department that has comp time, so there's extra steps that are done during payroll. But I'll continue to manage the payroll and I'll do the duties, if that's the choice. It seems like there's no option. I appreciate you, Dexter, Kevin, and Preston, for trying to, hear me out. But it seems we're at a lock. I'll do my best to share with the auditor. Hopefully, it won't cause a problem between she and I. And, I'll do my best to work with that.
I'm not saying you don't need the help, I'm saying legally, we cannot do it.
We changed our budget last year on the very last day, and we did a lot of things that were very illegal in last year's budget. We could change payroll, which isn't gonna be changing.
We can.
We did the same thing
This all
last
passed,
year.
we
We did it last
hammer it out
year, we did it
again,
this
start
year.
over.
We need to give Gina help and
Why don't you wait till the last meeting to say anything?
Well,
We've been
last-
doing
we did
this
it
for
last
the
year.
6
The
months.
last meeting.
What's different
she
than
was
last
gonna
year?
have something.
Well, that's
When we
understandable.
left here.
That's understandable. I understand it.
You still got the same amount here.
She agreed to it when we left court, that's what I'm gonna say. I mean, she knew when we did it.
I was under the impression y'all was gonna share.
Yes, I have
Y'all
no
worked it
problem
out.
with it, there's not a problem with it.
I did though, after court, Becky, I did ask you, you mean my 10,000's not there? I kinda in my mindset thought, I'll have that as a backup if it doesn't work.
But the point of sharing, if
But
you
that was
had
taken out of my
10,000,
budget.
then that would be a full-time, if I shared mine with you, then that would void that whole thing. So, but I mean, I'm just saying, you came to me, you asked me, I feel like I helped you out, and now I feel like I'm getting but anyway, I'm good with it. He'll still work with you like he has, we'll work it out. We've got a whole year to do it, it's not like we do the budget every year. If it doesn't work out, then next year you can come back and we can go back over this. You've done it this long.
So would it be possible to put that 10 back in there for part-time if we need something, or if nothing can change?
Dexter, let me explain something. She's got 10. She's still got the same 10. It's just not on the paper. If you give her 10, you're giving her 20, and then you're gonna create a ruckus with everybody else.
Well, I just looking here on the paper, everybody else's has got theirs on it, and hers don't, what I'm kinda going by.
I understand, but I'm telling you, we can't take a full-time employee and divide it by 2 departments. That's the reason
You have to put all the money in one or the other.
I don't understand that.
that's all, she's still got the same amount of help.
I'm gonna be a little hard-headed, I wanna understand things.
No, and it's okay. She didn't lose any help that she had
That's
last year.
what, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's what we did years ago when they shared, I think it was under the full-time employee was under the treasurer's
Back
budget,
way
but they shared it.
And that's where it should be, that's where we
Right.
should have it under the treasurer.
But, that's what I'm saying, but since it's under the auditors, it's still the same thing
It's
as
the
that we used to
same thing. She
do.
didn't lose
That
any
y'all
help.
wanted to do, y'all wanted to share an employee between them, I mean, it has to be under one budget, you can't split everything out.
Sure seemed like it worked better when we did have the treasurer and the auditor all in the same area back there, and one secretary in the middle. It seemed like there's a whole lot better communication back then and spreading everything out like it is now.
It was cheaper.
It was a whole lot cheaper then. She did emergency management too, when that secretary did. And helped the auditor and the treasurer. Now we have 2 full-times in the auditor, none in the treasurer, not a single full-time. When the treasurer used to have a full-time, the auditor didn't have no help at all. That sounds Okay. Ms. Justice there on the treasurer's report.
Well, I will remind you that all the counties a lot bigger than us do not have any part-time help in the treasurer's report.
And you could lead by example too, Judge, because there's a lot of judges that don't have any help neither. Full-time secretary, have a part-time or none at all. And that would solve the problem if you gave up Joy and we could give that position to Gina.
Well, that would solve that problem, that's not gonna happen. I think the treasurer needs more help than the county judge, you got some serious problems.
There's more people that either share or don't have a secretary of judges than there are of auditors that you named off. We got a whole list of them right here. You named what, one or two?
Well, evidently, Judge Secretary got way too much time. She got time, her and the county attorney to sit there and cuss the commissioners and stuff down there, so.
I think we're off the subject. I'm gonna call for the vote again on the budget. Motion,
I made the motion.
I'll second. All in favor? All opposed? Excellent.
Balls at y'all's part now, what do you wanna do?
We changed it last year. What's the difference in that last year and this year?
Gave raises to elected officials, got publicized
Yeah.
on the paper last year, and that's a violation of statute, but you can't change that this year.
I'd have to go look back, I can't remember the last year.
Yeah, we did.
If the money was issued part, last four sheriff vehicles come out of the same general fund.
We got lots in here that we can cut out of that was added that we didn't even approve in court. There's lots of stuff that was added to the budget in there that never went through court, never was approved by us.
Right, several times.
Got
We'd
more
like
than
to
the money
have
in here.
the last 3 years of what we spent, what we had, and we never could even get that. What was been spent this year and what happened, where we could actually go through it line item by line item. We couldn't even get the paperwork we needed.
I think we need
No,
to.
the book shows.
They don't show the last 3 years what had been spent every year exactly.
I've looked it up, I looked up some of it and I found enough, there's a lot of it here that was added to it that we never went in court, we never did, it was just added to, I guess by our auditor, decided we needed it, but we didn't add it in court.
Y'all left the budget open when we went out of court and told us to fix it. And we did, went in there, we had to adjust numbers on the payroll stuff. Gina was with me. Gina gave me the wrong number on payroll, so then the numbers had to be corrected. Would you rather me not correct it?
I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about there's a miscellaneous expense of $25,506, or the most we've ever spent out of the last 3 years is $7,729.
That miscellaneous expense was when the people came to court and asked for the $10,000, Judge, remind me. They came to court and asked for the money for the program, and there was more money that's what that was added to this year, because there's not a line item in there for that. So that's where that money came from, that's what that was.
Much more.
It's for that drug rehabilitation program.
Yes, thank you, Tanner, that's exactly what it was. And there wasn't a line item for that, so I had to put it somewhere, so I put it under miscellaneous expense.
What was that again?
Drug rehabilitation program?
Drug rehabilitation, that's right.
We all voted for that.
Yeah, that's voted.
Y'all left it with
What is
me,
this?
the treasurer,
Contingency miscellaneous expense.
that
Why don't that
was,
say the think tank or something? Is that what you're talking
Yes,
about?
think
We should have think tank on it, or we know what we're talking about on that thing.
Your Honor, have the excuse for a second. Thank you.
the miscellaneous contingency fund is what is left over when we did the numbers.
We
That's a
got
contingency fund.
44,000 right there.
Yes. The sheriff's department's, vehicle change, the numbers changed for it on the sheriff's department, I'm talking about, that made it go up a little bit more. Right here, here's the original index and here's the changes. The contingency fund's what's left over every year in the budget. And it did change because we had to change the numbers on all of the payroll.
Vehicles in there.
Yeah.
It's not.
There's
part-
not
it's
anything
part of the
done
vehicle.
that's not on the up and up, Kevin.
I still don't understand the 44,000, 46,000, or whatever it is.
What do you not understand?
Well, you saying the vehicles in there too, that's not the vehicle.
Yeah, no, that's what's left, the
The
contingency fund
contingency
is what's
is
left.
leftover money, do you not
Yeah.
understand
I
that?
understand it, that's
Okay,
what I'm
that's-
saying.
that's
We
what
have
it is.
44,000 right there, or 46,000, whatever it
I
is.
think it's 37 now because of the sheriff's department's vehicles went up and because of the taxes, the payroll, longevity and all that we had to make changes. Anytime you make one change, it changes all the numbers. I sent you all that, you have it in your email.
I think the money's there if we wanted it, find it, I don't think that's a problem.
We buy the sheriff's vehicle out of general fund like we do every single year too.
Don't do anything like that, get to buy the sheriff's vehicle out of the fund.
I don't have a problem with where you do with the money, the problem is of discussion, it's not a budget.
That's the same thing I did a while ago. What's different about this year than what was about last year? The same thing last year.
Depends on who wants it, so what's the difference?
That's the difference right there.
I didn't know anything.
It was in the last meeting, the very last meeting, when we changed all that. We gave all the raises, we did every bit of it. You don't remember us arguing about the same thing? We didn't agree to adopt the budget.
Yes, we talked about it, we discussed it, and we should have not, it should have been done, and we should learn from that lesson, and this year, when we have the budget hearings, that's when we should do this discussion, but everybody wants to leave court early. She does have help, nothing has changed with her help. She agreed to it.
I'm gonna reiterate, we added $164,000 and more help in the last 2 years. Which I think is totally, absolutely unnecessary. But
Lead by example for us.
if it's then, why are you adding more?
Why don't you lead by example?
How is that adding more help? How's that, that's not changing anything.
Because we need it. We need it in payroll. These problems that we are having, that had to go into executive session for, is gonna cost us a lot more money than that is. That's not doing it right. Gina does a dang good job. She's the best employee we got.
I'm not saying anything about what she's doing. I'm just
She
saying,
needs the help.
that's $164,000 we've added to.
We didn't add a lot of this. Judge Harrison he added it to department that's more than doubled over since our auditor's been there. That's nothing we can do about that. That's not our choice. We didn't add it. If you got a problem with it, why don't you question him about it?
You're adding one today, looks like.
We're going to, we're not gonna talk budget. What's your choice on that?
I have anything to do.
I don't either.
Al, would you explain that statute, please?
Okay, let me make sure I'm in the right statute, okay. And where did my book go?
You took break.
Okay, all right. In the local government code, because I did bring it. On adoption of the budget, and it is statute 111.008. It says, at the conclusion of the public hearing, the commissioner shall take action, not may, take action on the proposed budget. A vote to adopt the budget must be a record vote. But it does say, the Commissioners Court may make any changes in the proposed budget that it considers warranted by law and requires at the interest of the taxpayers. That's a micro thing that's warranted by law. I don't know what that means, but that's exactly what the thing says.
So why weren't you reading these statutes last year when you're gonna get a raise without us publicizing it or anything?
Listen, I brought it today because I heard y'all weren't gonna vote for it. I am not the attorney, I'm the
You
county.
heard that last year, cause
The
it was
raises had to
even
be.
in the paper.
The raises had to be put in the paper, was the problem with the raises last year.
Yeah, it
By the
wasn't-
government code, it has to be put in the paper, that
For how
was the
long?
issue. Well, I think it was
Before
14
the,
days.
We changed it to last
before the public
budget.
can come,
14 days before the hearing.
that way the public has notice where they can come
Yes,
complain
14
about it,
days
and that
before.
was not done.
No, it was not, that's why what should have been doing it, because it should have been discussed in budget hearings.
Now, there's lots of things that, as y'all know, y'all do stuff too, that sometimes we used to not do the surplus stuff like we should. We didn't do that, but when we found we were doing it wrong, then we changed it, and now you have to declare surplus, okay?
Well, yeah.
And all of us do things that we don't realize that the law covers, that we shouldn't have been doing it that way. We correct it. That's why we all go to school, that's why we all get hours, that's why I have 50,000 tabs in this damn government code, okay? All we can do is go on and correct what we've done. So stop bringing up last year, because we need to correct this year.
Excuse me, the same way we're doing with the comp time, and that's when Gina's trying to fix it and get this stuff straight, but now we still don't wanna get it straight, you know, it's just.
But, that's what I'm saying, Preston, we can only
We're trying to get
correct
it
what
straight,
we're
we're trying to
doing.
move forward, and we didn't do it right before, but we're trying to fix it, we can move forward and do it right, but now we're hold up on that.
Well, that's a different issue than the budget. The budget we have to adopt the budget today.
I believe me and Preston both pointed out last year, we were doing stuff we weren't supposed to be doing on the last day of the budget, we voted against it.
So therefore, you're not gonna vote on the budget today, it has to be done today.
I'm not voting for the budget we got in front of us.
I think we can amend it some more to.
I'm gonna get Michael to look at that.
Well, it says you can, but if it's a benefit to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
It is, it's keeping us from getting in a lawsuit, and keeping our employees happy.
I'd rather these two together. I'll let you. I'm not the county attorney.
Shall adopt the budget. I mean, I recall that from last year. And it says, can make any changes warranted by the law and required by the interest of taxpayers. I would say there's probably a lot of flexibility there in all cases.
So what's your suggestions, guys?
I suggest we add a full-time help to 10. I wanna make the motion we do it.
A motion, do I have a second? All in favor? I vote against it, Gordon.
No, I don't think it's legal.
What do you think about last year we did then?
3-2, motion carries. That's enough. With that exception added to the budget. We all ready to adopt the budget?
Will it balance, or do we need to buy the sheriff's vehicle out of the general fund?
You're gonna be short, a full-time 41,000, you're gonna be short a couple. We got 37, I think, in that contingency fund, you had it marked, I didn't say the contingency.
Well, 46,000 on what? You said it wasn't right.
I think it's 37.
Well, we can do whatever this will be short at the vehicle out of the general fund. That
Do
work?
what, what'd you say?
So we can pay whatever we're short out of the general fund for the vehicle, for the sheriff's vehicle.
Okay, can I have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion on that too.
Okay, I don't think it'd be very much.
Yeah.
You're talking about the difference in.
The difference.
Okay,
yes.
alright.
So motion, do I have a second? All in favor?
Gordon wants?
No, I'm not voting for it.
I'm not voting on it.
We've already budgeted for him. He's gonna get it anyway.
He's gonna get his vehicle. We ain't
It's
gonna
just
take
how
that
we
away.
pay for it, so. we don't need to vote on
Item number 12, adopt budget for year end 2022. Y'all satisfied with the changes?
it. Yeah.
Then I need a motion. Motion, do I have a second? All in favor?
Gordon?
Nope.
No.
No. Alright.
It's changed.
And with that note, this is probably the first time in the history of, I'm sure this county, many county, that the chief budget officer is up against the budget because it's not in budget.
This is the first time that we all left thinking one thing was gonna happen and something else was gonna happen. That was
Nope, I guarantee it wasn't.
Item number 13, drug forfeiture for year end 2022.
Yeah, the sheriff's drug forfeiture, it's just approving his budget, which is the total amount that's in his drug forfeiture, which is $39,535.50.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
And I'll second it.
All in favor? Motion carries.
Did you vote for it, Judge?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Item number 14, base pay for year end 2022.
Base salaries, I've given you the spreadsheets on your desk, each one of you commissioners for approval, and it's listed department by department. And the only one that will be different will be my office if you are giving me the full-time. I'll need to make an amendment to that. That includes the raises to the admin assistants to $13.97 for each department. It also, changes the sheriff's office, adds the patrol sergeant at $19.87. And the jail, it adds, it makes a change for the jail sergeant and the dispatch sergeant to be at $14.97 per hour. That's about a 51-cent raise from the jailer dispatchers.
So there need to be any change on your line item now on this, or?
Yeah, I'll need to add the, just like they'll need to add the line item, I'll need to add it to the base salary report as well. Cause mine only has my payroll in that line.
I'll make the motion approved with the change on the treasurer's added to it.
I'll second
Motion and second, all in favor? Motion carries. Item number 15, longevity for year end 2022.
Again, I've placed the list of employees, and the, longevity with a grand total of $22,950. 22 years for Pat Thompson. And we have 3 employees with 16 years, Johnny Lou, Georgie, and Gordon. Preston and Buddy Jones with 12 years, Danny Clausen with 11, Judge Hope with 6. There's multiples, 5 years with Kenneth Claxton, Becky Malden, Gina Paisley, Amelia Garcia, Angie Pippin, Joy Dennis, Michael Hall, Stacy, and Robin have 4 years at $600. Which gives you the grand total of $22,950.
Have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion second, all in favor? Motion carries. All right, item number 16, adopt tax rate year in 2021 through 2022. Mr. Pittman, I think you have the language on that.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.731907 $100, which is effectively a 0.68% increase in the tax rate, which sets the rate composing of 0.591189 for maintenance and operations, 0.020216 for road and bridge, and 0.120502 for debt.
With the changes we just made, where does it leave our balance in now? On this.
Or, well, will be even, I guess, if you're gonna pay the difference in the service.
Exactly.
It'd be the exact same
Yeah,
number.
balanced budget. I'll make a motion for,
Have a motion second to adopt the tax rate. All in favor?
And then you know these,
All good.
Adjourn.
And we need a motion to the,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Here you go, since I don't do anything, there's yours. You get to sign, Gina, here's yours, you get to sign. Or you take